Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for being part of this meeting. We're here today to celebrate the International Day of Persons Living with Disabilities. My name is Yvonne Jack. I am the founder of Spinal Cord Injury Association Africa Network. It is a network of organizations dedicated to providing critical information and support for people living with spinal cord injuries in Africa. We are determined to fill the knowledge gap in order to empower Africans living with spinal cord injury live a more productive and fulfilled lives. Thank you again for joining. Today we have a host as well. Her name is Miss Rita Ofili. She's a polio survivor and a wheelchair model. Hi Rita, can you please introduce yourself? I don't know. It seems it's just the two of us here. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Hello, Yvonne. That's my co-host. Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here celebrating International Day for Persons with Disability in Africa, in Nigeria, and worldwide. Yes, it is amazing. It's actually good the way you did expository on words, spinal cord injury association, network Africa, all about, it just opened my horizon, what you people do scared, what it's all about, and what it entails, and the things that is required to take care of spinal cord injury survivor. Yes, it says sustainable development goals. These goals are the things that could actually help us to know how to go about taking care of spinal cord injury survivors in Africa. So today, join us and we'll enjoy.
Yeah, it seems
Thank
we
you.
have one person who has joined, Miriam. Hi, Miriam. Hi, Rosine. Welcome, guys.
Hi,
Hi.
Miriam. Hello,
Hello,
everyone.
people. It's
Hello.
nice being here.
Yeah, thank you for
Same here. Thank you
joining.
so
We're so
much for
excited for
joining.
you to join.
Please turn on your camera
Are you okay to turn on your cam, Miriam?
No, I'm
so we
not.
could just see.
Okay. It's okay if you don't want to turn on your cam. I can see
Okay.
Rosim too is trying to join. This meeting is going to just be for 1 hour. We don't want to take too much time of for anybody who is going to be part of it. And thank you very much again for joining. Like I said, we have a co-host. Her name is Rita. She has already introduced herself, but let's see. Probably if more people join, you would introduce yourself again. I'm not sure. So Miriam, could you please introduce yourself as well?
Okay, my name is Mariam Idachaba. I live in Abuja.
Okay.
I'm single and I'm a SCI patient.
You're a
It
survivor.
happened 3 years.
Okay.
Survival, sorry. It happened next February 15 next year, makes it 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And
Miriam. And
yeah.
somebody tried to join. It's like they've gone out again. I'm not sure. I can't see them. So we're talking about the SDGs, the sustainable developmental goals for people living with disability worldwide by the United Nations. And I would like to talk of one which is probably very dear to my heart and we people living with spinal cord injury, which is health. And all of us are in Nigeria. We all know how our health sector is here for the normal person. Talk more of we people living with a disability and spinal cord injury. We living with spinal cord injury, we have a lot of complications. Like spinal cord injury comes with a lot of complications. Is it blood pressure? Is it bladder issues? Is it bowel issues? So we have a lot of complications as spinal cord injury survivors. Yeah, I can see somebody again. Yeah, Princess is here. Hi, Princess. Please introduce yourself, where you're from, and your disability as well.
Welcome. Thank you for joining, Princess. You're welcome.
Thank you. Nice meeting
Kindly
you.
introduce yourself. Same here. Thank you.
My name is Princess from Nigeria, Northeast region, Bauchi State. I'm a spinal cord injury from Bauchi.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you again for
Thank you.
joining. Yeah, so we were just talking about the sustainable developmental goals. I can see another person, Rosen. It seems Rosen is finding it hard to join. Hi, Rosen. Rita.
Thanks. So, yes, like my co-host has said, that one of the most paramount thing in the life of spinal cord injury survivor, it is the health the health, the medical. It is an avenue that in Nigeria, Africa, nationwide, and international, to make health centers very accessible for people with disability, particularly spinal cord injury survivor. They need it more, and not just that. They need to have access. It's possible for them to create free medications for spinal cord injury survivors in Africa, for us to take care of our health. Not, these things will actually help us to contain, not to have infection, not to have more degenerated sickness or diseases. So this is the more reason why the society needs to know the need and the importance of healthcare. And another thing that I feel would be okay for us as persons with disability in Nigeria, Africa, and international is skills acquisition. What do you think, my co-host Stephen? What do you think about that? If you're here, please, I want it to be very, very interactive. What are the things you feel it's gonna be good, and it's good as they go to promote the upgoing and the living of people with disability, particularly spinal cord injury survivor in Nigeria, Africa, North America, South America, Europe, generally all over the world. We
Worldwide.
have a community, and our community is all about leadership. We want to lead. We want to be in the forefront. We want to be inclusive in every aspect of our lives as a being. Yes, Yvonne.
I want to add about skill acquisition that you spoke about. Like, this is one thing I always talk about. Skill acquisition is what we really need. Like, with a skill, somebody in their room, internet skill, like you could stay in your room and work for clients anywhere, abroad, America, Canada, anywhere. Skill acquisition is one of the reasons I am financially independent. And I always say it's like we need that as people with a disability. So everybody needs to learn a skill. Sometimes the government will not do it for us. You yourself, you could pay for skills, learn a skill. A skill can do and make you independent. As a person living with spinal cord injury or a disability, you can be the sole provider for your family with a skill. I am legitimately telling you this. So, Princess, please, can we hear from you? What do you think about learning skills for we people living with disabilities?
Thank you very much. Good evening once more. I really appreciate for the opportunity given to me. From my own perspective, I look at it as a person with spinal cord injury is a very good idea. I think, and it's also a welcome development as a person with spinal cord injury. We cannot just sit and fold our hands and expect from somebody. We have to be independent. As a person with spinal cord injury, you have to learn how to be independent. You have to learn how to all these skill acquisition, something that will bring small money from you and from the government too. We expect something from the government. Let's say, first of all, they need to grant us free access to quality education and free access to medical care facilities and some other things. And another thing that we person with disability is accessibility.
Yeah.
We are having a lot of challenges on this issue of accessibility.
Very well.
I think it's one
Is every
area, especially here in Northeast. Particularly, I don't know in some other
It's
areas.
everywhere in Nigeria, my sister, everywhere. And I think in Africa, basically. I can
In
see
Africa,
thoughts. So, oh,
in
thoughts. So.
Africa, basically.
Yeah, Miriam, could you
Yeah.
say something as well about that, please?
Yeah, like
Rosie,
in Africa, I think we
for journey.
deal. It's a lot to deal with here. We can access a lot of places because of you're
Everyone
on a
joining.
wheelchair and going to places like I almost got a
You're
job, but
welcome.
because I had an accident, they actually held back.
You see?
Everyone
Because of that. So there's a lot that
joining.
we don't gain access to here in Africa. But in other countries, there are buses, places, they're free moving around. So it's something we're dealing with a lot here, medically and otherwise. Thank you.
Very
Okay.
Exactly.
So,
Uh,
And another thing is,
accessibility.
let me add some things. And another thing is that from the look of the other perspective, I look at as a person with disability, especially spinal cord injury. It's like we are really talented, God gifted, and I don't know. So I think we need to encourage ourselves and we need to help one another. Let's be our brothers and sisters keeper. Because the way things are, life is hard everywhere. Please, let's not look ourselves as if this person is going through hell. Let us not look each other as if I'm happy because this person is going through all this trauma or some other things like that. Let's try and help each other, advice financially and the rest. I think so. By doing that, we'll go a long way.
yeah, very valid points. I actually thought some of our members from other countries will join. I wanted them to talk about what the government, like laws that have been passed for them in their countries, because in Nigeria a couple of years ago the disability rights bill was passed into law, right? I don't know if it has been implemented. It has, right? But are the things valid? Are they taken into places? Like, is every structure accessible now? Are all people living with a disability able to go to school? In Nigeria, people living with a disability go through a lot, especially we those with spinal cord injury. Like, it's either the government is never there for us. We have all these complications that come with spinal cord injury. In other countries, I've spoken with people in Namibia. They've spoken about how they have free education. The government provides catheters for them. The government provides all these medical consumables for them, but we do not have it here. Many people here living with spinal cord injury are abandoned because of spinal cord injury network, this CN, because of CN, I've been able to meet people this year, two people that we were able to fund their medical care and all of that. Their family left them. Rest in peace to one of them. I still feel very bad when I remember him. His family actually left him. He was in an uncompleted building. That was where we found him. He had already gotten very down with depression and had all these sores that had eaten all his body already. So because of this support network is why we were able to find him. And that is one thing, again, I talk about for people living with a disability and spinal cord injury. We need more of support networks like this. We need to talk more about what we're going through because many people do not know what we're going through. So this is why we also need to talk more about our challenges. What do you have to say, Rita?
Yeah. Wow, once again, I want to say thank you so much.
I think Rita's network is bad. Hi, Fodso. Hi. Can you introduce yourself, please, where you're from and your disability? You can hear me.
Yeah, good evening, Yvonne. I'm
Hi.
Dr. Jonah from Cameroon, Bamenda. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
National Day for Persons with
Rita, can you hold on? Let him introduce himself, please. Just talk, Fortso, just talk.
Okay, all right. Good evening, everybody.
Hi.
Depending on your time difference, I don't know. It's evening here.
Yeah.
6 p.m.
Yeah, same.
Fortso Jonas from Cameroon. Bamenda is a
We can't really hear you. I think the network is also bad. Miriam, can you hear me? Princess, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you add a bit about support groups? Why is talked about support, and what do you think support groups can do to people living with spinal cord injury? Do you think they are really of help and all of that? So what do you think about support networks? Like I spoke about how it was from this network that we were able to find Yusuf. Yusuf passed away like 4 months ago, and he was abandoned by his family because of spinal cord injury. So,
Oh my God.
yeah, and this is one thing again I always talk about. We need all these support groups, and we need to also talk about our injury, our challenges as people with spinal cord injury, because the government does not know that we have all these needs, right? So that's why I also say to people with spinal cord injury, talk more, create content, talk more about our disability, our challenges as people with spinal cord injury. So when we talk more, the government would know the challenges we go through, right? And do the needful. So what other things have the government done for the SDGs that we're talking about? And what do they need to do? We've spoken about transport, accessibility, we have spoken about buildings, all of that. We've spoken about healthcare, right?
Okay, yeah. Let me add something to it from my own angle. Let me make an example with my governor. They always look at person with spinal cord. You know, we have albinism, we have polio, then we have physically challenged, that is
Yeah.
the cripple. So they think that when they see you on wheelchair, they see anybody on wheelchair, they thought that you are a polio survivor. So there was a time I was opportune to represent our ES, Executive Secretary for Person with Disabilities. So they were like, when I was like as in introducing myself, my name and my disability, they were like, what is the difference between spinal cord injury and polio and whatever? So I have to take my time and let them know that it's the two different things. You understand? Spinal cord injury caused by road traffic accident, maybe chip of the spine and some other things like that. So I have to make it clear for them because there was a time our first lady, wife of the governor, she was like trying to distribute some wheelchairs. And you know, someone with spinal cord injury, you can't use that. There's what we call there's one wheelchair, you use your hand to roll it.
Yeah, it's
And
more like a
someone with
tricycle, yeah.
yeah, thank you very much. So somebody with spinal cord doesn't have access to that wheelchair. So what we need is wheelchair. So she was like, Princess, I don't get you. You mean spinal cord injury and polio? They are two different things. I say yes, my it's two different things. So I have to make it clear to her. So we lost one of our member due to all this kind careless or whatever. I don't know. He was having a bed sore and his parents denied him access to visit hospital and some other things like that. So there was a time I visit his family. So I was opportune to meet with him one on one. I talked to him. He told me some of his challenges. I was like, wow, spinal cord. We really need to put more effort and create awareness.
Yeah,
honestly.
actually, we really do. We do because, like I said, the government does not know. People do not know. So we need to, a lot of people, once they see you, they think you were born like that. Like, hi, Noble. Hi, how are you, Ido? Could you please introduce yourself, your disability, and where you're from? Hi, Ido. Can you hear me?
Yes, I
I
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you clearly.
Please introduce yourself and where you're
Hello,
from.
welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Iwole Olariwaju. I'm a spinal cord from Osun State.
Okay. Hi, comrade Yakubu. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Comrade Yakubu
Hi,
Nabil Abrakim from Kogi State. My room is dark. I'm in the shop, so they have taken light.
Welcome. Thank you so
you're
much for
welcome.
Yeah.
joining.
Hmm.
Welcome. Thank you for joining.
You guys joined halfway because
So,
we've already spoken about a lot. And Rita, you were saying something before you went off. Could you please
Yeah.
continue?
Mhm. Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Like I said, this is an avenue where we need to create more awareness for people to know the difference between spinal cord injury and physical challenge polio
Okay.
survivor. There are huge differences in age, but people do not know. Thank God for now that Nigerian has awoken now because there is implementation guiding people with disability. It is now a gradual process. Nigerian has picked up with some certain things, and I believe that we are here to create awareness. They will hear us. We want them to provide more things for physically challenged person, particularly spinal cord injury
Survivors. Yeah.
survivor in Nigeria and African countries as well. So the health is very, very important. Skills acquisition, and how do we know all this? Imagine having 10 story building. They want to bring wheelchair or injury survivor. They want to bring a common universal wheelchair which anybody can use, which is not all to be so. Co-host, please, you should be able to clarify us more to tell us the certain kind of wheelchair, because I believe spinal cord injury, their wheelchair should be higher so their back would be able to rest, and sometimes the head to straighten the spinal cord to balance. Because if it's not balanced while they are wheeling on the wheelchair, it's going to destruct the spinal cord, and they will have more severe pain, which will lead to something else. So there are huge differences. That's why you and I are gathered here to celebrate International Persons with Disability, the sustainability, the development, the goals. We need to do a promotion. This is why we are here, telling them there are differences for physically challenged person and spinal cord injury survivor in Nigeria. So my co-host, please, can you expatiate on that?
Well, for the wheelchairs, even with the spinal cord injury, we also have injury levels. So the kind of wheelchair you use would depend on your injury level. We have the T, we have the quads, we have
Okay.
the tetras, and the list just goes on. So a wheelchair depends on your level of injury. Yeah. So the accessibility for a wheelchair is another discussion on its own because wheelchairs are very expensive. And in this part of the world, how many people living with a disability have a job and can afford one, right? So
Right.
owning one is also another problem we need to talk about on its own. Currently, we have non-profits that give wheelchairs to people, donate, but some of these wheelchairs could be just hospital wheelchairs that are supposed to be used in hospitals but not to be used outdoor or outside.
In the hospitals.
Yeah, because there are hospital wheelchairs and you see a lot
That's
of
true.
people here in Africa use them, and that's because those are the cheapest wheelchairs, and those are most of the ones that some NGOs are able to get to buy because probably they don't have funding, or the money they have cannot afford the good ones. So they go for the low budget ones. So hopefully another thing we need to do here in Africa is to build our own wheelchair making centers, which I am very sure is doable, right? Instead of importing all these wheelchairs from abroad, we need to also create centers here that we could build wheelchairs, and we, the people living with disabilities, can be the people to make these wheelchairs by ourselves. So what do you guys think? Do you think this is doable?
That's a good one.
Making centers that
Oh, sure, it is.
Nice one. I welcome
It
the
is.
idea. Yeah, excellent.
It is. In Lagos, I've been to a place where they are doing wheelchairs in Lagos, done with melters and some necessary equipment, but it's not as strong as it ought to be. It's not really a professional standard. But I know with time, if governments would actually key in into the vision, support the organization, support the company, or support persons with disabilities to travel, acquire some skills, and come here to do with the materials, the resources we have here in Nigeria to provide, because wheelchairs are really expensive. Imagine me going to buy a wheelchair with 150,000 for fairly used, when I can use that to acquire a new one, 150, 100,000, 200. And if you want to buy a new wheelchair,
if you need a new wheelchair, you need nothing less than 500,000 naira, which is almost $500.
400, 500, and
how? Where are we going to where are we going to get that money? How? Where?
In Nigeria can afford it. So
good evening, everyone.
To live a better life in Nigeria, having spinal cord injury survivors.
Rita, please let them introduce themselves.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, evening.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Palm. Yeah, and I had an accident which affected my spinal cord and affected just T3 and T4 to be precise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you for joining. So we've spoken about a lot. We've spoken about the SDGs, the Sustainable Developmental Goals for people with disabilities by United Nations. We've spoken about transport. We've spoken about accessibility. We've spoken about skills acquisition, all of these things, what has been done, what is yet not to be done. And we've said a lot. We've spoken about wheelchairs, and we've spoken about education, right? So what again do you feel countries need to do? Anybody has anything they want to say again before?
Good evening. Good evening, Ma.
Hi, good evening.
I'm Akindele.
Okay, welcome.
My name is Akindele Oladapo James.
Welcome.
I'm a proprietor of a private school here in Indonesia State.
Oh.
So I'm actually physically challenged. Can you hear, please? Is my voice audible now?
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear me, please.
I hear you.
So according to story from the mouth of my parents, that when I was young, around 3, 4, I have been working then. All of a sudden, they just discovered that I couldn't move my legs, and fell. And since then, they have been trying the best to just give me to ensure that I regain my ability to work. But I thank God, I depended for many years when I was in primary school. I depended on crutches. So from there, with some that kind of a shoe that usually put a metallic material like that. But I thank God, as I'm now, I am a university graduate. I studied accounting education. So and I have opportunity to have a private school on my own. But when I saw one of these banner, being shared on a friend's status, I said, "Wow, I would like to know more about these the people with disability." So that really prompts me to show a sense of belonging, so that I can, if there is anything, any way I can contribute, and the association can be of help to like myself. Because presently, my legs are, I can't walk without crutches. but I'm a
Wow.
teacher,
Thank
and
you.
even
That's
a proud
awesome.
teacher, a proud teacher. So
Wow.
please, I have sense of belonging, so that I want to know how I can be of help to the organization,
Do you
and
know of
mutual
anybody who
benefit. Let
is
me put that way,
also
sir.
Thank you. Trailblaze.
Trailblazer, yeah,
do you know of anyone
that's
who has
Trailblazer.
a disability who is also a teacher or works in the professional in the school sector in Nigeria? Like, I've not seen a wheelchair user who is a lecturer or a teacher, but I've heard of one though, but I haven't seen that. But that's a very good profession. But it takes so much for the Nigerian government to give you a job like that, even though you are competent. But just because of your
No, not government. It's private. My own school. Not government.
yeah,
It's my
that's
own
why I'm
school,
saying it will take a lot
not
for the
government school.
government. Yes, you get me?
Okay. Okay.
Yes. But if your
Yes.
school could give some of us employment, it will be amazing, right?
Yes. That would be
Competent
good.
people, yes. There are people that went to school who
That would
can
be,
teach.
yes.
What do you guys
Yes.
think?
Yes.
Is it that not good? If we have people around him in his
Yeah,
city,
it's very
Yes.
good.
yeah, please,
Yes.
they could come with their application and table it to you, and you interview them and see, and jobs are there, right?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay.
That's very good.
Please, I would love to have your contacts. Probably we'll talk more after the
Okay.
meeting.
Hello.
Yeah. You
Uh,
know, you have something to
Uh,
say?
yes, about that teaching something.
Okay.
Here, government usually employ some people that into teaching aspects. For example, our last
okay.
governor
Okay.
employ
Hello.
some people as I can remember.
He
But
employed how
recent
many
government,
people?
65 people.
Wow, with disabilities.
Exactly.
Amazing. What state?
Ocean State.
Wow. Wow. We need to talk more of this too as well. We need to also talk more of the good government officials that are doing good. Actually, that is good. Oshun, wow, amazing.
They usually employ some people like that in our state. The people with actually they introduce them to special needs school, which is a school of handicap. So
Okay.
they teach them, they employ blind. So even some deaf instructors. So because we have some physically talented that they can instruct or interpret to deaf. So they employ them and do some things to them. If they give them salary, they promote them from level as their thing, as their job. So for present regime development, back some people due to the very reduced policies to introduce them to change all those of politicians. If the power change from one party to another party, so some things that usually affect people with disability. So we have to drop some people's policy. When we went to the House of Assembly, we spoke to them and they tell us not to worry that they are going to give them back their work. Even we still talk about it today because we did our National Disability Day today in Washington State. I just come back from there now presently. So they promised us that they are going to employ many more people to special school because they are the people that they can understand what we are going to, not just
Okay.
our
This
debt officer.
social thing about is me.
If you are not talking, could you mute your background, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, Rita.
I can hear you.
So could you please share other
Yes,
things
I'm
that
talking about education. I'm actually talking.
could you
Yes, I'm talking
also
about education. Education. Yes, co-host. Yes, Yvonne, I'm here with you.
yeah,
I'm
I'm
actually
saying
talking about education.
Okay.
Yes, I'm actually talking about education. Education is very, very paramount in the life of persons with disability. Basic education, the primary, the secondary, and university, if possible. But then it's good that we know, even if it's terrestrial, but you should know how to read. You should be able to write. But if you are not able to acquire the education aspect of it, skill should be done. Another thing again that we need as spinal cord injury survivor and physically challenged person in Nigeria and Africa is financial support.
Yeah.
We need money because some of us have been empowered, some of us have talent, some of us have ability, but they need finance to get something to do. They need finance to support themselves. They need support to be where they want to be. Imagine someone that I know who is a baker, a physically challenged person, but she needs finance to buy oven, to buy some necessary things to be a baker on the wheelchair. So this is the aspect where I said that finance is very, very paramount in the life of people with disability in Nigeria and Africa and all over the world. I'm also here to say that inclusion, we need to be included to have access to resources. We need to be included to have access to quality.
Talking about the sustainable developmental goals for the United Nations for countries, right?
Okay, the team of
We talked about
the team
transportation,
of
we talked about accessibility, we talked about learning skills, we talked about education, and we talked about finance. So if there's anything you need to add, you can talk more. What have governments done? A brother spoke about how he's a person living with a disability and owns a school and would love to employ people with disabilities in his school. So that was one thing he spoke about again. And what do you have to talk about? A brother again talked about his government and how they employed over 65 people in his state, people living with a disability. So that is something to be commendable again about. Is there anything your government has done? Is there anything you think countries should do? Is there anything you think has been done? Just add anything. It's a conversation we're all talking about. Like,
what I want the government to improve, especially the people on wheelchair user, not people with spinal cord, because the people that are using wheelchair are many, are different class.
Yeah.
And is it the government that mistaken or we that spinal cord?
Yeah.
Mistaken
about that
because some people are not spinal cord injury, classified themselves in spinal cord injury, especially polio. Any organization, if you are not careful, if you don't understand them very well, they will you, they'll say they are, because they are wheelchair user, they'll tell you they are spinal cord injury, and some group, I see that's all that's disease that cause is cerebral, that they can't walk, they only use wheelchair, even their hand, they cannot even pick their hand, and they are not spinal cord injury. And I will still classify them as spinal cord injury since they are not even have anything to do with spinal cord. Secondly, on the wheelchair that there's one of our sisters that discussed about the wheelchair made in Nigeria. The wheelchair made in Nigeria is not good at all for accessibility to use, because if you look at them, as you said, there's a hospital wheelchair that most NGO that normally distribute. That you are very correct on that one, because the wheelchair that most NGO donated, you cannot use them. I even have one now, I cannot use it. It has no tire. It's only meant for hospital use. And if the government can, especially if you buy Benjamin wheelchair, it's far better than the one made in Nigeria. And if they can do work on that, and especially this wheelchair. And the wheelchair is very expensive to get one, and you all need it to move out since you cannot stay in the house. And it's not advisable for a spinal cord injury or a wheelchair user to stay indoor. If you stay indoor, it's like you are complicating your condition. Your condition become worse. Except if you are going out, you will feel relief. At least if you are talking to somebody and about a job, a wheelchair user or any disability you are, I believe they can still have something doing. because they have learned something before they end in a disabled community, they join the disabled community, or they born with a disabled, they born into disabled community. And if you are like that, at least what I normally say is that people that are disabled people have unsound mind.
Very true.
Okay.
Okay, let me add hello.
Okay.
I am with you. I pause for the person that is talking.
Rita, he was talking, so I muted you. Sorry. So, Princess, say what you want to say.
All right. Concerning what my brother said, Comrade Yakubu, he made mention that there were some people who are polio beds. They identify themselves as a person with spinal cord, or not everyone you see on wheelchair or wheelchair user is a spinal cord injury. Although we have some who are we have a cancer of the spine and whatever. So are we to classify those that has cancer of the spine as a spinal cord injury? Then secondly, again, I think in my state, in Northeast, Bauchi is one of the states that has agency for person with disability. And in my state, they always look at spinal cord injury as minor case or like that, because most of the spinal cord injury we are always indoors, you understand. Some
Yeah.
of us has bed sore, some of us can't even move an inch without an caregiver. So the Bauchi state government now create a center for skill acquisition for person with disability, for everybody. As far as you're a person with disability, they want to hand a needle, money, detergent, Vaseline, and some other things. So I don't know. We are still having issue with this polio and other clusters. Some of them identify themselves as spinal cord, well, there are no spinal cord injury. So I think we need to work on that or create awareness. Let them know that not everyone you see on wheelchair is a spinal cord injury. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Very valid point. So,
Uh,
Rita,
Excuse me, on the addition to what the sister have said, Princess,
okay.
on the spinal cord issue of the spinal cord injury is talking about, most spinal cord injury are caused by accident. And unlike me now, my own is not caused by accident, but I'm now
Okay.
in spinal cord injury because at my tender age, when I was few they say I have tuberculosis on the spine, and I was taken to orthopedic hospital in Kano. The operation was done successfully, according to my parents. And it was last 12 years now, started having weakness on the limbs. And I have to go to India for operation. If you see my back now, all that have been teared. And they have to remove some bone there. They put a cartridge, they call it, they put cartridge on it. The fixation, they put it on it. And I joined the spinal cord injury because the spine have been already condemned during the operation, and the tuberculosis have caused it. I believe that one can classify on that spinal cord injury because the injury have already there, the mark is there from up down. And the on the issue of state, how they care for physically challenged or disabled community. In most states, the spinal cord injury less assist because they know even within ourselves, within the community, they look down on spinal cord injury within the community, within the
Yeah.
community.
Thank you.
Within the disabled community. If you are not voice out, they will not listen to you that I'm spinal cord injury. Unlike in my state now, what they ask us now to do is that you should go and register and bring your registration, and you are still in process now. So that because you have board on that, you are doing that.
Okay. Thank you. Rita, what were you saying? Sorry.
Okay. Thank you so much. I want to say that Nigeria is a developing country. We might not know the difference, but we're living with it. We know the difference. And today, that is why the founder of SCAN, Spinal Cord Injury Survivor, Yvonne Jack, has taken out time to create this avenue for us to be able to create awareness, to educate our fellow Nigerians what it's all about. Today, we just narrowed it down that there are differences between spinal cord injury survivors in Nigeria and other countries and other disabilities. But today, we are narrowing it down on Spinal Cord Injury Survivor Association Network Africa. So wherever you are connecting with us, we need support, financial support. If you want to support us, please key in, and we are using this avenue to plead with Nigeria, Africa, North America, South America, Europe, wherever you are joining us, and most especially our president, President Ahmed Tinubu, to please come to the aid of spinal cord injury survivor in Nigeria. We need medical attention. We need the governors. We need the local governments, because there are other people inside the house that cannot move, cannot come out. This is where the government needs to come out. We need to do it locality, and you cannot work with us without us. You need somebody like Yvonne Jack to work with the local government. We need to localize it. We need to go to those places, those rural areas and other areas, to talk to people living with spinal cord injury survivor. The incident has happened, but they need to survive. They need to live a life. They need to be hopeful for tomorrow. We need a better environment to survive. Over to you, my co-host Yvonne Jack.
Actually, what you said, Rita, you made very valid points here. Like, this is a sensitization. We need a sensitization, because there are people in the villages, in the rural areas. Like, I spoke to you guys about Yusuf that we met some months ago. He was in a village in Oshun. Is it Oshun or Ondo? We got him there, and it's because of this support network that we were able to get him. And we had friends from somewhere that also checked him and helped him and found him. He was in an uncompleted building. He was left there by his family. So this is something that we people with spinal cord injury, we go through. There are many abandoned people. We just finished with one again. He's fine now. He's home. We got him a bed. We got him medical consumables. We assisted him at the hospital. He was there for more than 3 months, and now he's stable. And I hope that his family continues to assist him. The difference between somebody doing well with a spinal cord injury and somebody not doing well is the support. So if we have family support, we have financial support, we have support from the government, we can do well. A person with spinal cord injury can always do very good, even better than people on their feet. We only need the support. So basically,
with you, disability and disability.
Yes.
There's another thing I want to chip in here.
Okay.
There is something I want to chip in here. Is our bed foam, the foam we use in lying down, the foam. There are beds for spinal cord injury.
Yes.
Not every foam is suitable for spinal cord injury people. And these are things people don't know. Even me, physically challenged person, all my body starts aching. I start having cramps here and there, not knowing that the bed I'm using has expired. I need a stronger bed that will, very comfortable for me to get up, lie down, not too pressy or too soft. What can you say about that? What can you say? Has anybody experienced these things that I'm saying here?
Yeah, I have. I actually use an orthopedic bed. My bed costs so much that a lot of people are not able to get such beds. And that's why you see we have all these body aches, and why we also have, with spinal cord injuries, we go through bed sores, we go through pressure sores. And that's another thing that contributes to it, is the beds that we use. People cannot afford these beds that can live or keep their body sturdy, strong, and be able to turn after 2 hours, or how many hours they're able to turn. So all these things are all the things we people living with spinal cord injuries go through. And we also spoke about the medical consumables we consume. We use catheters, we use urine bags, we use all these socks to help us with pressure relief on our feet when we sit for so long. We use so many things, so we have a lot of special needs. Yes, we have so much. So these are some of the things that we hope that the government can help us with, and also make jobs available for us, because we could still work. We are still able to work. Once we get our independence and we're able to get through or enter workplaces or online where we get skills, when we're able to acquire skills, we can still have jobs. So these are just some of the few things. Hopefully we're going to be able to have such meetings monthly from next year. Every month we'll have these meetings at the end of the month. What do you guys think? Is this something we should talk more about?
Yeah, I think it's a welcoming idea. At least with that, we can be able to identify ourselves and some members who are still battling with spinal cord injury. We can explain one thing to
Happy
others, reach others
International Day of
village or
Persons Living
anywhere.
with Disabilities.
National Day of
Very
Person
good.
with Disability.
Yeah, very good.
Happy.
Yeah. So, like I said, we would love to have such meetings.
International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Happy. Bye, everyone. Have fun tomorrow.
Thank you. Does anybody have anything they want to say? You guys will make it another day.
I have something to say, especially the spinal cord injury. You have an opportunity now that when you have this SSC to the president, and you have to tell him what you need, especially the wheelchair, because most organizations that do empowerment or do donate wheelchair, it's not really getting to the grassroots, and the grassroots that need wheelchair. If you look at the most program now, they say Abuja, Lagos. How many spinal cord injury can travel to Abuja? How many spinal cord injury can travel to Lagos or Port Harcourt? All these things have to be considered and break it down to the grassroots, especially spinal cord idea. Because physically challenged, they are enjoying. Physically challenged, they are enjoying than any other thing. All these benefits.
Another thing that I spoke about, we need to talk more about ourselves. Like, people with spinal cord injury, they do not come out. They do not talk about their challenges. They do not talk about what they're going through. And that's why this network is also something that is a very good thing for us, because this is where we can talk more about our challenges. We can talk more about things that we go through, and the world will know, people would know, because the government, like here in Nigeria, the government, just like we spoke about earlier on, the government thinks that everybody who uses a wheelchair has polio or was born like this. But it is only us that will tell them, no, somebody living with spinal cord injury is different from a person who is living with polio, right? So it is us again that needs to talk all about this. It is us that would sensitize people, that will go out and tell people about our lives, about what we can do, about everything that has to do with us, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is something that we will do monthly. Like I said, hopefully next month again, ending of the month, we would have another meeting and we would continue throughout. All right, so I'll make a link for the next meeting, and I would really say thank you to everybody that joined, and God bless you. I am going to edit this live video and put the link in the group and add it on YouTube as well. Okay, thank you very much.